I'm Ashton Addison from the Crypto Coin Show, and today on Blockchain Interviews with Charles Bergeron, CEO of EZO.App. Charles, welcome to the show, and thank you for taking the time.
Hey Ashton, very glad to meet you. Thank you for taking the time to interview me and learn more about our amazing companies.
Definitely. I know you guys have been so busy conferencing in the fintech sector, and crypto is, although summer's kicking in, I feel like it's not going to stop. And I know that you and your team have been heads down working as well. So I'm excited to dive into all the recent updates. But I'd love to start our conversation off with sort of a high-level overview on what is EZO.App. I know there's a lot of functionality. If you could sort of elevator pitch it to us, and then we can dive into all the details as we jump in.
Yeah, sure, Ashton. The company is called EZO for Easy Operation. It's one of my advisors who actually found that niche slogan. So the concept of EZO is that right now, if you take your phone, you're gonna have 5, 6, 7 apps for all your financial life. Okay, from crypto to investment to banking, payment, money transfer, remittance, anything financial, it's always spread left and right. And moving money from A to B is always a pain. It's always excruciating. It's always costly. It's always complicated. Even for me as a Canadian, our company is from Canada. We're super digitalized. It's always a pain. Everything crypto regarding is very much a pain. And what we did at EZO is say, hey, let's take all of these different services, fuse them into one place. So very simple and easy UI, very low fees. But the real value that we're really setting is the accessibility, all right? Because what we are doing in Canada is very cool, but we completely switched the focus of the company a year ago on these developing nation, where everybody has a phone, but nobody yet has access. Actually, the official statistics is around 20% of these people have access to what you and me, Ashton, we have in our daily life. So why not make it very much more better than what we have here, but get this product into the end of it's literally billion of people who are undeserved and unserviced right now. And we do come from a world of fintech, but we also come from a world of blockchain. And what we do is that we fuse the best of both worlds. So I like to say the best of CeFi, because CeFi is superior on DeFi in multiple ways, but the same can be said. DeFi has a lot of edge cases that are way better than CeFi, but are totally unusable in the end of everybody. Like you can't have a financial product in the end of everybody that you lost 12 words. Well, sorry for that. Thanks for playing. Have a fun next life. It doesn't make sense. But at the same time, you cannot have all of these services, financial services, in the end of everybody where it's a Sunday and Saturday. But, too bad. Have fun. You're crossing a border. Your system won't work. You can't have these stuffs anymore in the financial life, because what we're building at EZO right now, it's 100% the future of finance. And if it's not us that's going to do that, somebody else will. 100%. Open any comic book, any science fiction comic book, and you'll see how people pay. I like to reference the Rick and Morty episode where, I don't know if you saw it, but it's like a global currency, and then they put it to zero and everything explodes. The future is that it's going to be one centralized stuff where everything is connected. So again, EZO is a super app. It's the user, it's using on-chain, off-chain, doesn't know that. He pressed 2 buttons, tack, it works. That's it, that's all. All we need for that is a phone. And our stuff, a very unique point we have, and I'm going to let you go, sorry for that, right after that, is that our stuff works as well as online, but as well as offline, which is only because of the background. Me and my co-founder and my genius CTO, we comes from a background of access control. So everything regarding bus card to enter building, etc. And these environments are offline environment, and they're very challenging because you can't centralize the information, you can't verify stuff. So you need to design mechanisms so that you can validate information, validate data. And it's practically the same for payments. So we're able to offer offline payment, offline finance, and that is literally there's 2 billion people minimum that are totally undeserved for that we can right now go tap in. In fact, that's what we're doing. Like I have my visa here. It looks like a mock shot, but this is my visa for one of the country in Africa where we're flying out in 2 weeks. And I just came back from like 5 vaccine in the last 2 days to go over there. So EZO is the super app for you and me as consumers, a super app for for businesses, and it's also a super app for the bank. So we have 3 paying customer. Each of their services, maybe we can go in them maybe later, but basically, again, everything I told you about, from payment, investment, crypto, anything, each different vertical has specific use case, specific edge case versus the competition and versus what people are doing. And at the end of the day, it's really to help the people We decash everybody, we digitalize everything, we take the friction the cash created, reinject it into the ecosystem, and it's a win for the government, a win for me, a win for the businesses, and a win for the bank. So it's a win-win-win-win-win. Only people who lose are the fraudster and the cash. Cash is the big loser. So sorry.
Wow.
When you make me start, I can talk about this.
No,
For
it's
1,000 hours.
exciting. It is exciting, Charles, and super fascinating, especially merging in banking applications with crypto apps. You know, traditionally in crypto apps, okay, yeah, you can on-ramp. At some point, you need to on-ramp fiat in there to buy crypto, but I haven't actually seen you know, your banking app and your crypto app in the same app. That's something new for me. And I feel like that's the end all be all as it eventually merges together.
Yeah, sure, and that's something you see in Canada. There's a lot of there's a few startups in fact, there are real companies who are doing that right now. And our product, we took three approach. Okay, there's the approach where you have like the EZO.App, which is a standalone that you can interact from your app to your traditional banking ecosystem. But we also, when we started pitching to banks, especially in developed, as much as I would say, as much as in developed nation and in developing economies, the bank feedback was so positive, which was a surprise also for us, that we decided that okay, as yes, our app is going to be standalone talking to these traditional ecosystem, but we're also going to offer the bank the opportunity to, like, let's say the EZO swap, which is behind me, which is the on-ramp, off-ramp. We're going to allow you. So let's say you open I don't know which bank you are in the US, but let's say you open Bank of America, and you could have a crypto exposure directly into the app. So it's super interesting because you have all these banking clients who are coming from us. Then the app runs also a standalone. And we give the consumer the choice of where do you want to centralize your activity. And at the end of the day, we're still getting all of that flow, all of that volume, aka revenue down the line. So it's we're not doing white label because we're not a software companies. And I think a lot of people who are taking that approach are going to be losers down the end, not because they're going to lose that market share, because the super app is the future, 100%, 100%, 110%.
And you mentioned you're in Canada, but you're talking about underdeveloped countries as well, which obviously they love crypto if they can find a way to get banked without having to go through all the regulation stuff that's just not up to date in those countries. So is the app like efficient for global users, or are you guys specifically targeting those countries in Africa?
Well, you see, this discussion is going to be about yes and no. So at first, the first country we're launching is Canada and Tunisia, and the other country I cannot say for 2 more weeks, unfortunately. But the product is going to be, our concept is always to bring the user a product where he can use it anywhere. You can pay. The real phrase we're saying is you pay with what you want, or you want where you want. So you can have Bitcoin on your phone in Paris. You can have Canadian dollar on a card in Guinea. You can. It doesn't matter. Like finance is, for me, finance is like a big cobweb. Okay, it's a big cobweb, and there's multiple endpoints. And our job at EZO is that you as a user, you just take the product. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what technology you go. And we, as the company, we provide the backend services so that you can use it, and it's our job so that it's easy and it's settled all the way. So yes, we're definitely going to be offering I don't like to say global, because for me, finance should be, we keep hearing the term open banking in our industry and all of that, open finance, blah, blah, and actually finance is everything but open, in my opinion. But it's all about connection. It's all about connection, and we handle all of these connections to bring the user. Like for me, my job is that I give you whatever, you take the product, you use whatever, and it's my job so that money can be spent, that money can be invested. You as the user, you don't need to say, oh, I'm taking vacancy and I'm going in a holiday in Mexico, I need to get pesos. No, you don't need that, and we're not going to provide very, and a lot of people, there's a company that does that already, but you're going to get these 5-10% premium on the foreign exchange rate, whereas we don't give that because we work directly with central banks and friends, let's say it like that, so that we get market rate and we aim for volume. People, they just want a simple solution and very easy to use.
No, I completely agree, and I think that ease of operation name sort of speaks for itself. We just want less steps, make it easy, especially now that more people are becoming global citizens, and every week they're in a new country, and yeah, you don't want to lose 10%. It's ridiculous, the old world on how those transaction fees work. So now, we were just talking beforehand, you were mentioning about, and your team has been conferencing hardcore. There's been a lot of crypto conferences, but also fintech, banking conferences, more the traditional banking in Canada as well. You know, the big four banks are there. Did you speak with traditional banks at the conference, and what did they think about the EZO.App and merging in crypto into the banking apps?
You see, it was a very, in fact, it was the most fun I ever had in my company last week, for to be honest, because it was the first time we were exposing EZO to like the big boy. And when I say big boy, I'm talking about a real big boy, like the JP Morgan Chase, the Bank of America, the RBC in Canada, which is like the equivalent of Chase in the US, like the really big boys. And a lot of people from the IBM people, like the people who build the ecosystem that everybody used, they were there. And the feedback was amazing. They went to the booth. They really liked that. First of all, we're a young startup in our industry. Nobody is, there's not a lot of young startup. There's not a lot of young guys. I don't like to say disrupting because we're not disrupting. We're improving the ecosystem. If you want to change the system, you work with it and you improve it. You don't disrupt it. This is one of the biggest problem in crypto. People try to disrupt the system, and we've seen so far how it went. You can't disrupt the system. Work with it, improve it, and the customer will naturally flow to the easiest path. Nature always like what's easy. And the biggest feedback, the biggest thing that we have from this conference, I would say, is that there's a lot of big companies, as much as government, that are working on instant payment solution. Instant payment, they call it RTR, for real-time rail, kind of like Pix in Brazil, or you can see the UPI in India, or we pay Alipay in China. And all of these government, they're working on these very efficient product. But at the end of the day, the biggest problem they're having is that they have no link between these technology and the consumer end product, which is where we come in and we shine. Because and I can't say it too much because a lot of stuff going on behind the scene, but we're at a unique point where we understand we understand very well how our financial ecosystem should work, and we can have these product push through our technology so that the governments get what they want, aka real-time payment solution, digitalization, through our application. But we, as EZO, we get all of this consumer load in our application for all of our services. So I would say that the banking world is very interested in changing. In fact, it's already changing. It's already improving. Visa is, I think the news is going to come public very soon, but they reveal a few new features at the conference where they're very wow. Like, give us a lot of idea, like the very niche feature that actually fix problem. I think there's a lot of big companies that are working on stuff that nobody cares, nobody want. Because like you and me, like you're from, I think you're from the US, I think, correct, Ashton? And
I'm from Canada,
no, you know that. Oh, you're from Canada, so
Yeah.
so you know the big bank. When I say RBC, you know what I'm talking about. You see all these big banks, they're working on systems that. Okay, but is this really a consumer pain? Not really. Especially like me, when I spend money at the store, I'm getting instantly debited. So real-time payment is not going to change anything for me. Anything, zero. But there's a lot of cool stuff that they need solution like us to push to the market. Like I wouldn't say CBDC because I think it's a double-edged sword. But CBDC at the end of the day, okay, it exists. But if people aren't using it, then what's the point? And if you want people to use it, you better put this in their hand. But how do you do that is the big question. And that's where a solution like us is a very good platform for that. Surprisingly, there's a lot of people from countries that came to us, central banks that came to the booth and say, hey, we're having this we have this tech that we develop, but we have no way to push it to our consumer. And by the way, we're having trouble also accepting international payment. We're a very popular touristic island, but we're having trouble accepting American payment and Canadian clients. I'm like, take my solution. Like we're based in Canada. All the stuff in America, I would say the American payment world is, for us, it's way more easy to manage because it's our daily life. That's what I use when I go out and buy stuff, and that's what the merchants are used to. So I would say surprisingly, the feedback was very positive. People want to work with us. Visa, Mastercard are interested in opening doors. I think people keep trying. People keep saying that people want to disrupt, people want to aid, people want to destroy Web3. I think everybody who said that haven't taken the time to actually speak to these decision makers, speak to these person that are trying to improve the ecosystem. I think there's a toxic narrative in crypto that the Web2 is against us. The banks hate us. They try to beat us. No, not at all. In fact, they want exposure into that. It's just that you have these two ecosystems who are so different to one another, and one is very easy to access, but it's full of whatever, you know what I mean? And you have this traditional ecosystem which is super clean, super by the book, but it's super slow to move, like it doesn't move itself. So you need to find the best of both worlds and combine them together, which is exactly what we're doing at EZO. And in fact, last week our goal was to make noise, but it went so much behind that. Like this morning we just finished doing our debriefing and we had around 150 very, very, very good lead. I would say out of 150, I would say, sorry, 80 very, very good. That there's people in that I would never, I couldn't believe they came to us when working with us with the stage we're at right now, which is amazing. So definitely open. There's a different. I think the fact that we're young, that we're Canadian, is definitely helping because Canadian flag comes with the trust factor. It's very very powerful. We keep seeing it when we go in developing nation, and the fact that we're young in the dynamic in a super super old industry, and next year is going to be the same big conference we're going to go next year. We're going to make a lot more noise, and I think our name is starting to circulate in a lot of report of big boys. I would say that.
That's amazing, Charles. Congrats on the success so far. And I'm curious a little bit more on the Canadian side versus the big financial power of the world, USA. There's also a lot of regulatory hurdles to jump over, and exchanges that have to isolate the Americans because of all these extra rules. Does it make it easier for EZO to go worldwide, being in Canada versus America, or just avoiding that area?
I would say yes, definitely yes. A few countries we've been in Africa, they told us if you guys were American, we wouldn't have this meeting right now. It's that dumb. It is that dumb. We got the same comment also for European. Just think about it, okay? You take the French Africa, okay? The stresses of everything that happened in their history, like the colonialism. Like if you're French, if you speak French, you come from France and you go there, you're not going to be able to do business in most of these regions because there is just a lack of trust. If you speak English, you go to this region, they don't speak English, so there's already the language barrier, and over there, the language barrier is enough to kill any product. And then you have all the Asian people who go there, and it's a bit like it's hot right now. And then you have us, French Canadian. Oh, we speak French. Hey, we're from Canada, by the way. And we come with the trust. People love Canada. The Canadian flag is it's one of the biggest thing we have by default. We are so lucky to have this. We have no idea how many doors I've opened with just this single. Hey, we're a Canadian company exporting technology. And to get back to your question, a lot of these countries that we're going, they're behind in specific ways, and the regulatory side sometimes is totally not updated with what we have here. But at the end of the day, we took that difference and we twisted it to our advantage because we go in these regions and we say, hey, here's what we're going to do. Here's how we plan to do it. Here's how we think you should regulate. But that's how we're regulated in Canada. So what we propose is that you take all of this like turnkey ballpark of regulation, and you take this and you import it over there. You say, this is how you should regulate companies like us. This is how you should do it. And funny thing enough is I was in the middle of nowhere in Africa having a meeting with the central banks, and they literally name dropped some specific people from Payment Canada, and they said, we're looking at what these guys are doing right now. So the thing that we are adjusting ourselves to, people in developing nation are also looking at that. So it makes our job a lot more faster, because when they have to choose between a local fintech, which is trying to build what I had 15 years ago when I was in high school, and me and us, where don't forget that first the focus was on Canadian market. So we had to say, okay, everybody has what is what everybody already have what's available in the market right now. So what can we do? We had to innovate into already innovative markets. So not only are we 3 steps ahead to when people get to that point, but we're already 15 years ahead by default over there. So we're so many steps in. Like if we're playing chess, it would be illegal because we're so many steps ahead. But at the same time, it's very good for the regulator and the government, because we can take the good ideas that have maybe like the stuff that Canada tried to do through the years, that we can take the good one and put away the bad ideas, and then we come with, look at this is what you should do. And if you play the cards right with the way we have done it, which is not trying to teach people what they should do and just say, here's what we think we could do together, where can we create value together. And when you play that card correctly, it's insane. But the fact that we're Canadian is definitely, I would say, when I pitch, in developing nation, is 35% of what I'm saying. Easily 35 to 40. It's that strong. Because you combine, it's amazing. Yeah, I'm so lucky. We're so lucky to have the Canadian flag.
I know we're blessed. It's a blessed country. I'm curious if you've seen a sentiment shift since the beginning of 2024 with the Bitcoin ETF launch, maybe more banks or more people understanding that crypto is a viable option, and now the Ethereum ETF launch. I feel like that's going to bring institutions and people deeper into the crypto sphere beyond just Bitcoin as a digital currency into Ethereum and all the cryptos, do you think people are, and institutions as well, are more open to crypto as a payment as a whole as these ETFs and crypto assets get more normalized in society?
Okay, I'm gonna split your question in two part. The approach regarding crypto and the payment stuff. So I think the ETF coming was a very good event, especially the Ethereum one, which basically more or less nobody saw coming, especially that fast. I think right now, if you're an institution, you cannot deny the fact that crypto is getting traction regarding as a speculative investment. Like your people want to invest into that asset, they want to get it, they want to invest in it for whatever reason. Is it a giant casino? Maybe, maybe not. That's everybody has their own answer to that question. Okay, but I think right now the ETF gave the much needed validation from banks in modern country that okay, crypto maybe it's not just a scam. Maybe it exists. Maybe we should start finding a way to get exposure to that. Maybe not through the ETF way, but hey, it's happening. Like if the USA approve these things, it's legit. So yes, I would say it's definitely feeling a switch regarding crypto. I think also the fact that Bitcoin price literally exploded is connected to that because we're seeing similar pattern that we had in 2017, 2021, which is every time Bitcoin explodes, oh, okay, crypto is cool, Bitcoin is cool, blah, 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 blah. No, every time it's the same narrative, never changed. I'm pretty sure 3 cycles in the future is going to be the same thing getting said all over again. Then you have all these buzzwords, AI or whatever, coming in every cycle. You have the new trend, which die completely 2 months later. And you have companies like us and a few I could name that are still working to fixing true pain. So I would say people definitely want exposure to crypto, especially Bitcoin, especially ETF. I think these two should be king. I think it's going to be a while since until we see another ETF, if we ever, maybe we won't. We'll see, because these two, I think the fact that I think a lot of people forget that these two were the most mined crypto back in the day. And the fact that they were mineable was a big argument in a way regarding is it a security or is it not a security because it's decentralized enough. You could agree on yes and no different way, but I think it's going to be a while until we see another EFT crypto like for Solana or other stuff. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? I don't really care about this stuff because it's not my forte. And for me, the more regulation, the more legal stuff, the more people have access to that, the more easier my job is, so it's fine. Regarding your second question, crypto as a payment, that's always a funny story, and I always love to get into that part. I think crypto as a payment is one of the worst potential tool that you could use as a payment, but also one of the best. Let me explain. People keep saying, okay, I'm going to pay in Bitcoin. No, you will never do that, and nobody wants you to do that. Okay, I like to give the example. Let's say you go at the grocery store, you buy some food, you go to the counter, perfect. Okay, hey, mister, it's going to cost you $50 for your food. Would you, as a consumer, pay that $50 with Apple stock option, with Apple stocks? Would you take the investment you made in the stock market and pay with Apple stock? You wouldn't. Then what would you pay with Bitcoin? What would you pay with a speculative asset? Why would you spend a speculative investment at the point of sale? If you want to, if crypto is if you get into crypto because it was easy and it was simple to use, Bitcoin is not the currency. Stable coins are. Paying a stable coin, very interesting. Paying a stable coin, I definitely think there's value behind that. I think there's 3 things I think there's value in crypto. There's the stable coin. There's the fact that you can access it 24/7, and the fact you can manage it yourself, which is what bring me to crypto back then. And then you get a smart contract for Ethereum, and we can build stuff without having a centralized entity. But paying Bitcoin, no, nobody's doing that, and everybody that tells you that this is the future is totally delusional, in my opinion. And I invite anybody who's telling me that, come with me. Let's simulate a transaction. Let's see how the merchant is down to wait for 50 minutes for his cash. Let's see how businesses who have very certain margin right now are willing to speculate. Oh, I'm selling something $50. Oh, damn, I got the payment $44. Ugh. Okay, maybe they can gamble on the upside, but no business will ever gamble on their margin. Nobody. And if everybody was telling you yes, I've never run a small businesses. I think big company can be interested in that. I know a lot of people will take crypto as payment. They like to speculate on the asset. Fine, but you can do this by accepting stablecoin. I think paying a stablecoin is definitely a form of what is going to. I think it's one of the best use case for crypto as a payment. I think crypto can be used a lot, way more, especially into what we're doing at EZO, into like blockchain. In fact, not crypto. I would say it can be used for way more than that. But paying a stablecoin, very interesting. Paying Bitcoin, Ethereum, paying in anything else that's not a fixed value, I don't believe in that. I don't believe at all. And let me tell you a funny story. Like, the people in El Salvador, they got $50 of Bitcoin, everybody, $50, and to withdraw that from an ATM, the fees were so high back then that it cost us $44 to withdraw $5, which makes sense. And if they pay, let's say they pay the fees, the network fees doesn't care if you're poor or rich, it's still going to be the same. And paying a traditional way is way cheaper, way more convenient, way more faster. Like, I take my card, I tap, it's done. Okay, crypto, I have to scan something. No. Verify, address, explorer, blah, 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 blah. The merchant hears the beep on the terminal and says, okay, cool, bye. I know I'm getting the money, and we're totally not there yet with crypto, which is something we're working on as well. So getting that 2-click, that 2-second process, in access control, there was a stamp on it. You had to validate someone before 2 seconds. Even 2 seconds, well, like 1.5. After that, it's considered excruciatingly slow, and we need to get to that point with crypto, which is totally not the case right now. Plus it's super dangerous to use as a everyday consumer. You enter a wrong letter, you put a space somewhere. Oh, sorry, the money's gone forever. Have fun. Again, that's why EZO is needed. 2-click, 2-button, poof, poof, poof. That's it.
Amazing. No, it's a great explanation, and I agree with you. And I have paid with Bitcoin before, but I completely agree that it's not ideal. It's more of a novelty to be like, hey, look, I did it. And I went through the inefficiencies. But with stablecoins and layer 2s, faster blockchains that are making it 1 cent or less and instant confirmation, I feel like that's the future as it continues to evolve.
Yeah, also a small point. A lot of people saying I can feel the lightning network comments coming, and then yes, maybe because there's a lot of people using Lightning Network in developing nation, but at the end of the day, it's always the same thing about why pay with a speculative investment? Just get the crypto, get stablecoin, and pay with a fixed value, which is my main agreement. Like again, just so I cannot get exposed to that question that sometimes I forgot to answer.
Definitely. So capitalizing on this opportunity of growth for stablecoin payments and international payments, what's the focus for EZO moving forward? Is it just expanding Canada and open up some new jurisdictions in underdeveloped nations?
Okay, so right now we're doing a a double launch in the end of September. This is the goal we're having right now. We're going to launch in Canada, province of Quebec first, and in Tunisia and Africa. Both these regions have specific reason for that. First of all, we need to launch in Canada because we're a Canadian company. We're a Canadian company exporting Canadian IP, exporting Canadian technology, exporting Canadian know-how all over the world. And how can I say this phrase if I don't even exist in my own market? And anyway, we know we can get a lot of market share with a few of our services that are going to disrupt a lot of, let's say, big player that we know we are going to start playing in their back end, and then they'll like that. But the revenue is definitely there to capture. And if we switch the focus and we look at the developing nation, that Tunisia is a very specific place. First of all, they speak French. It's the hub for all of Africa, Middle East, and Europe. If I'm in Tunisia, where we're also investing in local resources to growing, we're hiring people that are not just because they're cheap, we're hiring because they're talented, and we found them during our university tour. We can talk about this later on. And I'm 2 hours left and right in a plane from 2 billion people who needs my stuff. So why would I go into the US where it's an oversaturated market, and for people it's not? Yes, it can be it's a convenience game, it's a better fee game, and it's an easy product game for me. That's why I'm selling here. Okay.
Yeah.
Over there, I'm selling a do or die. I'm selling $5 more in your pocket by the end of the week, and that is food. That is food for a week. That is university. That's school. That's infrastructure. So what we're doing, and for people who have never been able to access these financial services, it's like giving them the keys to a Ferrari. And that, by the way, that is market. That's actual market feedback that I got. That when I got to the field. So it's not theory. It's not like, okay, this is it. No, this is this is the case. And I'm going back in 2 weeks again and again and again and again. And after that, we're definitely going to expand it into the Black French Africa, because it's a really the market already in need. The people are really. I know for a fact that we're going to be able to help the population by that, and we're also going to be able to help the government. And for us, it's a very big opportunity, because how I see it is like I could invest into the traditional financial system in the US and Canada 50 years ago, and there's stuff I can say, but I'm not having a green card on how I want to redesign finance over there, but I have definitely more power and opportunity to work toward that thinking than I have here. So we're going to spread. LATAM is also, once we're very big in Africa, we're going to start looking at LATAM and I would say so Latin, Central America and Southern America, which are basically having the same problem. that the African people have, and then you have the Middle Eastern. One country that I'm looking forward to go is actually Bangladesh. I keep seeing video of Bangladesh people. They all have phone. Nobody's banked. 5% of them are 5% of them are banked. 95% plus of them have a phone. So it's accessibility to the financial bank to financial life has never been a tech problem. It's always been accessibility. It's always been a human problem, a you and me problem. And that's why we're fixing, and we're getting with that Canadian product, which exists at home, which is running at home, which you can see online and existing at home. And I think the more smaller market, like maybe Europe and America, USA as well, are going to be the last one that we want to conquer, because why would I go there when I go on saturated market where what I'm offering is unique in these regions? Especially nobody from Canada is selling an all-in-one like this, and I don't care what other people are doing in the market. We're going to do it better, and so far so good. So.
Amazing, very well said, Charles. I'm looking forward to those launches, and I'm going to follow along because I completely agree. Hitting the right markets, no need to jump into a saturated market when there's billions of people that desperately need something like this to be able to get food and groceries and not lose 10% if they want to send it to their family overseas, and all of these other reasons. So I'm really looking forward to it. What is the best way to follow along for that launch and try out the app, when people need it?
Well, there's three answers for that. So we just started, let's say, reviving our social media. We've been working on all of this very underground because we are playing in the back. We're playing in the background of very huge people, and we don't want people to know. We don't want specific player to know we are coming in their playground yet. So we keep it under control. We keep it low ground, but right now we're starting to expose a bit more. I would say you can follow us on Twitter. Twitter, LinkedIn is also a very good place to follow us. Telegram, we're also a bit less. I would say Twitter is a very good places. We're gonna start spamming a lot of updates. A lot of stuff is gonna come online very soon. We have around I would say 1 year of undisclosed news and very, very massive stuff. I think, and also if you go on the website, you can register to the newsletter, which is a good way also. And we're gonna open up pretty soon the way that you guys can sign up for the alpha and the beta launch. The MVP was done way years ago, so we just need to. We have specifically waited on the September date is very like we could turn the key on and launch tomorrow. Okay, no problem. Not for every services, but a bunch of the core one already ready. And September is very, very specific for a reason that I will be disclosed very soon. And for sure follow along. And we're still building all of these like the blog and everything like that, because so far they have not been a focus at all. And to me, like I would rather allocate my resources to stuff that actually matter, because what people need to understand is that the clients that we're gonna have, these people in developing nation, they're not that much on LinkedIn, not that much on Twitter. Yes, but not that actually. When you really take a look, they're not that much there. So we need to adapt like to these traditional markets, like which are down the line human to human. The network effect is, the company-wise, transfer-wise before, 55% of the new customer is coming from word of mouth. Word of mouth, 55%. And they are onboarding 100K user per week.
Wow.
100K user per week and 55% of these new customers are coming from free marketing, which is humans saying, "Hey, that product is good."
Yeah.
So we need to focus on that. But I would say down the line, very Twitter, Instagram, Telegram is going to come. The group Telegram is going to be open soon. I would say newsletter, and just follow us on. It's going to be chance cheesy, but follow us on LinkedIn. Like this is where we shine a lot. I think everybody should have a LinkedIn. That's where the business life happen, and it's also the first step in the due diligence. So.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds great, Charles, and I completely agree. Focus on the product. That's the number one thing, and the rest will come easy. If the product is good, it will sell itself, as you said, word of mouth, and people will be like, "Hey, this is how I'm paying. You should get the app so you can receive," and so on, and it builds down the line. So I'm super excited. I'm looking forward to catching up with you again closer to September to hear about, why is September this auspicious time. I feel like it's going to be a good time for Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of crypto, and hopefully payments as a whole. I can leave the social links as well in the show notes below. And thank you so much for taking the time today and your insights into global payments in Canada. It's great to hear of projects that are building strong for the world coming out of Canada. So thank you so much, Charles.
Thank you so much, Ashton. I think it's about time for somebody to go and kick the nest, I would say. and that's what we're doing, and I don't see why we won't succeed. So.